Hey guys, it's Tobi, editor for Team Yugi Boom. The guys didn't really hand me anything to edit right now, so guess I gotta do a deck profile. Got Shiranui for you. So Shiranui's was something that I've been wanting to build for a while now. I've always ran zombie decks, especially my old zombie synchro deck that I ran in 2013 before I quit. And then yeah, but when I heard about Shiranui's, I had to, pretty much get on them. But ever since Link Play was introduced, like they weren't really, relevant until just recently with the Savage Strike set, they came out with some new support. So without further ado, let's get on with the deck. So for starters, I kind of just have the usual 3 Shiranui Solitaire. He's kind of standard in any zombie deck, except in this deck, he kind of runs a little bit differently. You kind of want to put him in the graveyard, so that way you can run his Banish effect to actually special summon one of your banished Shiranuis. That's kind of the central focal strategy with this deck. So 3 Shiranui Solitaires is definitely a must. Next, I run 3 Shiranui Spirit Master. He's pretty much good for field control and an extra special summon on his summon. And then you run 3 of the new Shiranui Squire, kind of the new girl on the block. Basically, she'll allow you to special summon a Shiranui Spectral Sword monster, because there's 2 types now. And yeah, it'll allow you for an extra like Link summon, or hell, even a Synchro summon if you're bold enough to go to the length. So, and also she's really good for her banishing effect, especially you could search her out with a gold sarcophagus, just pop her effect, draw 1, discard 1, and you never know if you end up with like a Mezuki that you could just dump out. So pretty good for these guys. Next, you have the Spectral Sword tuners. You have Shiranui Spectral Sword, and then the new Shiranui Spectral Sword Shade. Shiranui Spectral Sword is really good to search out and just kind of dump into the graveyard right away, because he'll end up synchro summoning from the graveyard without it necessarily being a synchro summon, and I'll get to that in a bit. But you also have Shiranui Spectral Sword Shade, in which you can also search out both of these with Shiranui Squire. When you have Spectral Shade on the field, you can actually tribute him and special summon 2 of your banished Shiranui monsters. So you're pretty much able to set up for a Link 3. Pretty good addition to the deck, good new card, love all that stuff. And then finally, I run 1 Shiranui Samurai. He's not really that important, but in case you ever run into him first turn, he's able to just activate his banishing effect whenever he can, once per turn of course. And you just get Shiranui effects off, and that's always great. That's pretty much it for the Shiranuis. Now I just have the standard zombie monsters. Of course I run the 3 Mezuki and the 2 Gozuki. Mezuki definitely runs a little bit differently in this deck. He's a little bit faster, and you're able to recycle him in all sorts of ways other than just, burial from a different dimension. And Gozuki is actually really good because of the fact that he can banish from the graveyard to special summon from your hand. Ergo, you activate a Shiranui effect. So either way, it's still pretty good. And then, of course, you run 3 Unizombie. A lot of the times when I do use Unizombie, I don't end up dumping my Mezuki. I more than likely go towards my Spectral Sword, so that way I can activate the effect of Spectral Sword from the graveyard to special summon. But a lot of the times Unizombie, you do activate him to get an instant level 8, or if you're crazy enough, level 9, because I do run a level 9 in this deck. So. And then, for a little bit of anti-meta, or I should say meta, 3 Ash Blossoms. That's all for the monsters. Next, we're going to go into the spells and traps. I run 3 Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story. Kind of a bit of a mouthful. When you activate this card, you got to make sure that, your opponent has a monster on their side, but you pretty much discard a zombie to special summon a Shiranui monster from your deck or the graveyard. Keep in mind what you have to discard is a zombie, but that's always a good thing. All you're running is zombies, so in case you have a Mezuki in hand, just dump it, special summon a Shiranui. Next, I run 2 Book of Life. Again, this is your standard zombie deck, but you only run 2. It's not really that important. I kind of wish there was also an effect that allowed you to banish from your own graveyard, but I guess that's asking for a little too much. I run 2 Twin Twisters and 2 Burial from a Different Dimension, kind of self-explanatory. Twin Twisters, pretty good to just, you know, dump out a card in your hand, whether it's like a Mezuki or if you end up getting a Spectral Sword in your hand. I'm always going to reference those 2 cards. Don't get tired of that anytime soon. And, of course, Burial, just to recuperate all your banished cards, get their effects again when you re-banish them, you know, always good to recycle. Then next, you have your 1-ubs, got the Gold Sarcophagus, ooh, that ban list, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Monster Reborn, pretty standard. And then next for the traps, I run a whole Shiranui suite except for 1. I run 1 Shiranui style Samsara, 2 Shiranui style Swallow Slash, and 1 Fateful Hour. Shiranui style Samsara is actually really good for both of the effects. This does consider itself a Shiranui style synthesis card on the field, so it actually gives a little bit of an additional special summon with Solitaire's effect. But it's their main activation effects. You can banish a zombie type monster from the field to take no damage for the rest of the turn. That means, of course, your Shiranui effects. And then the second effect, you target 2 of your banished zombie type monsters, return them to the deck, and then draw 1 card, because, you know, everyone loves a free draw. And then Fateful Hour is actually really good, just came in from the recent set. It allows you to target 1 monster that cannot be normal summoned to special summon it on your side of the field, and that's in either player's graveyard, so this deck is going to be very synchro or link heavy. You're definitely going to need 1 of these, or maybe 2. I'll try to find a way to squeeze into you. So now moving on to the extra deck, I mostly run just zombies just to accommodate for the style of this deck, because a lot of your cards mention that you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn unless there's zombies. So to just kind of help out with that, in the extra deck we have 2 Shiranui Shogun Saga. I know it's a little bit overkill to run 2 of this guy, but there are some times where you do banish him, so you're not going to be able to recuperate him a lot of the times, but he's a really good beater, 3k from the start, and if you special summon him in any sort of way, whether it's from the graveyard, from the extra deck, or from, you know, the banish pile, you're actually able to boost this guy's attack by banishing a Shiranui monster from the graveyard. Therefore, again, your Shiranui effects. You should know this by now. And then next I run 1 Shiranui Squire Saga. I don't really get her out as often as I want to, but you know, other than that, her effects are actually really good. You're able to banish a Shiranui monster from the graveyard, therefore activating the effect. But depending on what kind of monster you banish, you get a sequence of effects that go off. So if you banished a zombie type monster, you can have all monsters you control gain 300 attack. If it was a fire monster, you can destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. And if it was a synchro, you can destroy 1 monster card on the field. So just the full suite, just available there for you. I don't really go into it often, but it's something I should really consider doing more. I run 1 Shiranui Sun Saga and 1 Shiranui Samurai Saga. They're not necessarily cards that go hand in hand, but Samurai Saga is actually really good. You do make a lot of level 6s. With Sun Saga, it's good to bring out when you're able to bring the Spectral Sword out with a Shiranui Shogun Saga on the field. What he does is that when he's special summoned, you're able to return any number of synchro monsters that you have in your graveyard or your banish pile, and once you do, you're able to destroy cards on the field by however many you return. So that's always a good effect to go off. And then I run 1 Archfiend Zombie Skull. I know you might be thinking, wait a minute, how are you going to summon that when you need Plague Spreader Zombie? Well, the thing is with Shiranui Spectral Sword is that he can actually special summon from the extra deck when you use his graveyard effect, and it doesn't count as a synchro summon for whatever reason. So you're able to bring out Archfiend Zombie Skull a little bit easier, especially with, you know, a lot of your Shiranuis. Next, I run a small little Mayakashi engine. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but there's a bit of a spicy tech with this involved. So I run 1 Gasha Dokuro, the Skeletal Mayakashi, and 1 Yoko, the Graceful Mayakashi. Now, when it comes to Mayakashis, you're able to pretty much special summon them with each other, sort of working down a climb from a Link monster to level 9 level 11 and then so on. You kind of bring these two out first, have them in the graveyard, and you bring out, what's a Link monster. When that Link monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you're able to basically special summon the Gasha Dokuro, get his effects off when you special summon. But when you special summon, you gotta banish. Keep in mind, again, your Shiranuis. And when he's special summoned, he's able to target himself, and he is unaffected by cards for the rest of the turn. And then when he's destroyed, you move on to Yoko. So it's just kind of a small climb. When she could special summon herself when a level 11 monster is destroyed, ergo why you have the Gasha Dokuro. And when she's special summon, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls on the field. Just those small little things just to, kind of help out. And then I run one Sai Frame Lord Omega just for the extra Mezuki from, the banished pile. That's always a good thing. For the links, I run two Shiranui Skill Saga Supremacy. Although she is actually really good in this deck, she's not Shiranui specific, but she caters towards the Shiranuis, and interestingly enough, she caters to Yoko as well. So, according to her effect, synchro monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle, or cannot be destroyed by card effects, sorry, and fire monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So she's pretty much kind of a shield for a lot of your synchro Shiranui monsters, so she's really useful there. For the Link 2s, I run two Vampire Sucker. This is a little bit overkill, but considering, the theme of the deck with all the zombies, it's kind of good to go into Vampire Sucker, especially for the draw effect. Granted, you're not special summoning onto your opponent's field too much, especially with this build, but again, extra cards, always a good thing. And then just for, extra stuff, one Borreload, one Saryuja, you know what the deal is. Saryuja is actually really good with his special summon effect in this deck, so it's kind of something to consider, as well as the drawing effect. Well, I guess that goes with any deck. So, yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. So, this was something I've been working on for quite a while now, and I'm glad to actually, finally make this deck. I mean, along with other decks that I've made, especially for being with the guys here in this channel. But if you guys have any suggestions, or if you guys have just any random comments to leave, just leave them down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell so that way you know when we upload our videos. And be sure to catch us in the next video.